Howdy there, utopians. Cool little word I've given to all viewers of YouTube. Welcome to the channel. Today, I want to try and start something, start a little series, and see where it goes. And, if one person sees it or one cajillion, it's all the same to me. I just enjoy doing this and putting it out there. But I want to start a series about just talking about Jesus and the Bible and seeing where it goes and bringing up, any type of situation or anything about the Bible and or topics, and just kind of give a little short spiel of how I interpret things and what I think about certain things. And by no means am I a pastor or a guy who's got any type of degree in theology and whatnot, but I just want to get on here and spread the word and see where it goes and see if I can help anyone, and at the same time have some nice soothing background video games, where, as another disclaimer, I'm not that great that often, but it's entertaining. And yeah, so I'm just kind of gonna hop right into it. And today I want to talk about my favorite Bible verse, and I've liked it so much I've even tattooed it on myself, from Proverbs, book of Proverbs, a very wise wisdom book of the Bible, written by King Solomon for the most part. And chapter 19 verse 21 says that many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. And I've always thought this is just a fantastic verse to have in my mind at all times and build some aspects of my life on. And it's definitely changed a lot of my life and how I think about things and go about things, now that I can reflect back and just apply this verse to a lot of areas of my life. I think just starting off with this verse, bringing up some biblical application to it. There's a lot of people in the Bible where they had these grand schemes and grand plans, and they thought they were going to do all this and be all that, and either God comes in the story in the Old Testament, or Jesus in the new one, and shows them, hey, this is gonna be my plan for you. And they most of the time end up doing it, not 100% of the time, because every plan is God's plan. But you go to the disciples and you start off with like Andrew, Peter, James, and John. They were all fishermen and thinking they're going to grow their business and become fishermen the rest of their lives and just enjoy fishing in the waters. And Jesus comes walking along and he's like, hey guys, go ahead and follow me. And they're like, sure, what could go wrong? And they end up becoming extremely pivotal parts of the Bible, and follow Jesus along his whole mission, and become staples in their own way, and have created for themselves great spots in heaven and next to Jesus, and goes along with the other disciples as well, and most of them and what they've done. And they kind of just prove that, hey, we thought we had it figured out, and Jesus comes along and he's like, hey, this is my plan for you. It's much greater than what you can imagine. And it ended up becoming more than they could imagine. They all went to their deaths, for Jesus, and lived a life for him. And I think they would much more they liked their path that Jesus gave them over to what they could have thought. And yeah, I think we all have these grand plans and well thought out plans, and then one thing goes wrong and we lose hope or give up because we think that God did something wrong. And it's here to say that God didn't mess up your plan. You just trusted in your own plan instead of asking him what his plan is for you. And so that's where you kind of went wrong. You thought that you, as a fleshy human, could think of something and take in all these different parts and build this masterful plan. But little did you forget that you're a human and you don't have it all figured out. And so it's not going to go the way you want it to, and it's not 99% of the time, like, none of your plan is really going to work out. And sometimes it does, but in that case, sometimes people just build ego and give themselves the credit, and so that's sometimes why it's good a lot of times that your plan doesn't work out. And I think once you trust in his plan more, there's a few things you start catching yourself doing more of. You start reflecting on the past and reflecting on, you know, this start of whatever you've been trying to change in your life, and you kind of become thankful that it didn't go the way you wanted to, and it realized it worked out much better than you could have thought of, and you kind of become more peaceful with whatever goes on in your life, and you just are at ease. In the same way, you become less stressed because you know everything is going to be all right, and so you aren't worried about figuring everything out and knowing what each part of your path is, because when you trust in the one who has it all already thought out, you can't alter it in a way that's better for you. In my own life, that's why I was able to point these out so easily, because I've seen all these come to fruition multiple times, and I've grown up in the church and had a loving Christian family, and throughout my childhood and going into my teen years, I didn't really feel like my relationship with God was my own, and I just kind of was doing it just to check off a box and kind of get through the week and go to church because I had to. And then as I go through high school and stuff, and then go into college and experience COVID and have a not the best freshman year, I get exposed to some Christian people in a Christian group at my college sophomore year, and end up meeting my wife, and along the way having some jobs that are not the best and just weren't going to get me anywhere, and got a college degree and went down the sheriff route and got pretty far in that, and thought that was going to be the case, and trusted God at that moment. Was like, oh yeah, let's see where it's going to go, and my wife and I were going to figure it out. And then that kind of falls through, and I'm sitting there like, what's going on now? And that eventually leads me to the electrician route, and I joined that and get in, and I'm sitting here a few years into that, and so thankful that the sheriff thing didn't work out, because that was just not the best route at the moment, and God, in his perfect timing, knew that this would be the better route all along. And yeah, you just never know in the moments when things look tough and things seem tough, and you just are questioning God and like, why is this happening? And I thought this was what you had for me. It can sometimes just be something just to show you what a possibility of something, or open your eyes to something, even if it's some massive event or something crazy. It can all just be there to show you one lesson or anything along those lines. And here I am today, just looking back on the past 6 to 8 years of my life, and kind of when I started to get way deeper with my relationship with God, just extreme gratitude of accepting his plan and seeing how it all worked out so great, and I wouldn't have it any other way, and happy where I'm at. And it's just, you can never know what the plan is going to be, because you don't know what's even coming tomorrow. And it even talks about in the Bible, and Jesus says in a sermon that adding stress doesn't add a day to your life. And the birds, they don't think about where they're going to be or stowing up food and stuff. And why do you worry about all these things when, if God cares about them, the birds of the air, you think he's not going to care about you, his creation and son or daughter? So I think just, that's the main story of main point what I'm trying to get to, is trusting in God's plan can be tough and can be unpredictable, and you're not going to know what's going on, and it can lead down hard roads and tough times, and it's not always the most enjoyable thing. But at the end of the day, you always have a chance to look back and be so thankful it turned out the way it did, no matter how long the road is. And if someone's stuck in that right now, there's doesn't last forever. It things can suck, but they don't last forever. And so just enjoy the moment you're in, and realize that no matter what you're going through and what you're doing, there's a creator of the universe who has a plan for you. You know, you can feel so insignificant, but he knows you and knows what's best for you. So yeah, just trust God's plan, reflect on that verse, and throughout the week, throughout the months, see if you can apply that to the best of your ability and reflect the best you can. And I hope if anyone sees this or anyone enjoyed it, you can just learn to pray to God and ask Him to show you His plan, and just get along for the ride and leave it all up to Him, because he's got it. So that's pretty much all I have, and I hope to in the future just make more videos about this or random things, and just covering all sorts of topics, because why not? And it's fun just to ramble on sometimes. So hopefully this video kept your attention a good bit, and have to catch you all in the next one. Appreciate it.